Now, if there's one thing we all know, it is that New Year's is when people often set a lot of goals. I'm actually not a huge fan of this. I'm not a huge fan of resolutions. But there is one thing that I think you should prioritize for yourself this year and every year, and that is simplifying your life just a little bit more. If this is your first time here, my name is Robyn. I help overwhelmed people simplify their lives through organization, productivity, and creating an environment where you can thrive. So grab your tea and let's go. So here's the thing. What does your life look like right now? What do you like and what don't you like? I want you to grab a piece of paper and let's write this stuff down. I'm actually going to do this with you. I've got my trusty planner and I want us to write down all of the areas in our lives where we can simplify things. So life can get super busy and it's not getting any longer, that's for sure. We are actually only here for a little while. Now, I've told you before about my job as a nurse and how I went to school with 3 little boys at home and how I was overwhelmed by the clutter. I honestly just did not even know what to do. I started decluttering with their toys first, which is always a bad thing. And then when I started to actually declutter, once I started moving further into the process and doing things properly, I was actually realizing that I was simplifying my life, which was awesome. I was also simplifying my family's life, which I think is super valuable too. However, there is always room for improvement. So let's write down some of the things that we think we can do to simplify our lives and make it a little bit more enjoyable. Now, when life is chaotic, we just aren't able to enjoy it as much. Now, I remember when I was working full time and I had the kids in several activities, we were doing a lot of work around the house and it was just too much. Life was just getting too crazy. And I honestly didn't have the time to enjoy my kids. And I really didn't have the energy, which is pretty sad. And the busier you are, the less you can actually slow down to enjoy life. Life actually goes by faster if you're super busy. And there is no peace and there is just no time to reflect, which is not good. So can you remove any commitments? Do your kids need to be in so many activities? Maybe they don't. Do you need to serve on so many boards? Maybe you don't. And is there something that you can remove? Do you maybe work too much? I do. And so I am actually going to write down that I need to work less. Work less. Not only am I a nurse, but I am also a business owner and a YouTube creator. So for a while, I was taking no days off. I worked 5 months without a day off. I want you to let me know if maybe you feel like you are working a little bit less and what can you do? Do you need to work less? Can you cut back on some expenses so that that can happen? Maybe it isn't, but maybe there are other things that you can do too. Can you simplify your environment? This is a huge one. For us, we had way too much stuff and it was just making things super, super cluttered. I struggled to clean. I struggled to relax. And it was like I was constantly being reminded about all of the work that I had to do and hadn't done. I would come home from working in the emergency room and just look around at all of the clutter and I would start cleaning. And I'm telling you, that is insane to work 12 hours in an emergency room as a nurse and then come home and start cleaning. I don't think that's good for somebody's mental health. No. It was also majorly hard to deal with all of the stuff around here. I would be shuffling piles here and there just so that I could even dust, which I just think is absurd. I also stopped noticing the piles, which is also a pretty bad sign. Like when you have piles like at the bottom of your stairs or here and there, and you don't realize that they're there over time. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like, have you been there? Because this is something that I have struggled with in the past. You just start becoming blind to these things. Once I started decluttering, I noticed that life was actually getting simpler. It was easier to relax in our home, and it honestly felt like the sanctuary that it should feel like, because your home should be a sanctuary. It should not be an area that is bringing you stress. It should be a place where you go to de-stress. I also had more time with my family, and even when we were having a busy season in life, I had more time with my kids and my husband because I didn't need to spend so much time cleaning, which makes me so happy. So is there something that you should add to your life to make it better that will even simplify it? Does that even make sense? One thing I want to do is I want to spend more time with my friends and family. Now, before this darn pandemic, I used to go to dinner with my friends once a month. And it was so nice, like just some girlfriends, other moms, and we just had a lovely time. We would talk about whatever, like our houses, our kids, our family, our workouts, like our lives, our interests, things like that. It was so fun. But then the pandemic happened and we didn't have dinner for over 18 months. And then just this past summer, I was always the organizer, but just this past summer, I was like, we need to do it again. And then even at the beginning of December, I was like, we need to get together. And we did. It was so fun. So we have had 2 dinners in the past few months, and I really hope to make that happen so much more often. Because the thing is, I need time with my friends and my family too. So I want to have more walks with them too. So do you need to add some soul-filling friend time to your list? This is a great way to simplify your life because spending time with your friends and family can help your stress levels and build a level of community, fellowship, and time with your community is so good for you. It's good for your immune system. It's good for your mental health, as long as they're healthy relationships. Now, another thing I want to do to simplify my life again is to get back to my routines. Now, Christmas, as you know, I love Christmas, but it does throw life into a little bit of chaos. And I kind of fell out of my routines, so I'm just gonna write routines. So my routines, they're a way of keeping life on track and organized. I love my routines because they become second nature and things honestly just flow so much better. I have a morning, a daily, weekly, monthly routines. And it may seem like kind of weird and not really simplifying life to have a lot of routines, but I completely disagree. It actually is so good because it takes a lot of the guesswork out of things. It just makes things flow better, especially when you get in the habit of it. Try not to lose that habit when Christmas happens. So doing a little bit of work every day is the best way to keep on top of things and to care for your house, to care for your things, and to care for yourself. So that is why routines are so good. And one of my favorite routines is working out. So after I drop off my kids in the morning and I do a quick tidy and my cleaning routine, I head to the basement for exercise. Now, after I'm done doing my weights and my cardio, I spend just 12 minutes doing yoga. I use this wonderful app. It's called Down Dog. And they were actually kind enough to give free subscriptions to a lot of healthcare workers and I believe teachers and that during the pandemic. So I just want to give them a shout out. They have been wonderful and I've really enjoyed that app. And that is why I can actually scale it down to 12 minutes. And this is not sponsored either. I just thought they were wonderful. So I usually just do 12 minutes of yoga after every single workout. And it is the most peaceful time of my day. Just the gentle stretches and the breathing, it just helps me feel grounded. Do you have a solid routine? Do you need to find a routine? Do you need to adjust your routine? Click this video here. This is all about how I made my routine when I usually do it. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.